Welcome back. The Caribbean Science Foundation, CSF, has announced plans to establish computer coding workshops in St. Lucia. Chris Satney reports that a team from the Caribbean Science Foundation was on island recently to lay the groundwork ahead of the start of the program in January 2019.
The goals of the CSF computer coding workshops are to stimulate more student interest in science and engineering careers, especially computer science, and to help prepare students for university study in the STEM disciplines in general. Adjunct Program Manager of the Caribbean Science Foundation, Gillian Hassel, says the first of multiple workshops in St. Lucia will take place every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 12 noon between January 12th and March 30th, 2019 at the Castries Comprehensive Secondary School and will culminate in a public showcase by the participants on March 30th, 2019.
It's quite a long commitment, it's 12 weeks, so we're requiring that the participants are committed to this initiative, but we expect that when we're finished with that they will be able to offer themselves up to industry, to either design websites or to create mobile apps that will be of benefit to the country.
Professor Cardinal Ward, who is the Interim Executive Director of the Caribbean Science Foundation, says the CSF is excited to assist St. Lucia with the diversification of its economy by harnessing science and technology for economic development, thereby helping to raise its standard of living.
The goal is to take the brightest in the Caribbean and help them to prepare to go to the university of their choice. And we encourage them to stay in science and engineering because engineers create more jobs than doctors and lawyers, which is where most of our bright young people go. And we think that to build this economic pillar, to start building this new economic pillar for the region, we have to also encourage more technology companies to come into the region and also encourage our people to become entrepreneurs, some of them who have that in their veins.
The CSF, which is headquartered at the Cavell campus of the University of the West Indies, Barbados, is undertaking the training with grant support from the U.S. Embassy to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean and the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS. Minister for Education, Innovation, Gender Relations and Sustainable Development, Honorable Dr. Gail Rigobert, has meantime thrown her support behind the initiative.
So there's really marrying all the fancy stuff about robotics, science, e-skills, digital competencies, all with a view to exciting our students when it comes to technology and leveraging technology not only for recreational purposes but also to enhance their employability, and that is why I'm particularly happy with this initiative.
St. Lucian residents who are interested in a career in ICT, particularly in website or mobile application development, are encouraged to apply to participate in the workshop. Applicants must be Caribbean citizens over the age of 15 years, out of school and at-risk youth, individuals with disabilities, females, and science and mathematics teachers are especially encouraged to apply by visiting the website caribbeanscience.org. From the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Education, Innovation, Gender Relations and Sustainable Development, I am Chris Satney reporting.
A one-week workshop dedicated to the revised Kyoto Convention has come to an end. The convention, which was adopted by the members of the WTO, comes under simplification and harmonization of customs procedures. More in this report.
The revised Kyoto Convention is the main trade facilitation customs convention and was developed by the World Customs Organization, which entered into force on the 3rd of February 2006. It is an update and revision of the International Convention on the Simplification and Harmonization of Customs Procedures, which was adopted in 1973-1974. The revised Kyoto Convention aims at facilitating trade by harmonizing and simplifying customs procedures and practices. A week-long workshop sought to bring countries together to support their efforts in adopting the convention.
Some of the countries need to go through the parliament and some of them not. It depends on how each country has designed the process of acceding to an international convention. But it is always done through a gap analysis. The first thing is to compare your national legislation with the provisions of the international convention and start the national work with all the entities involved in the process, including the Foreign Affairs Ministry. So it depends on each country. Some of the countries can perform this process within 1 year or within 3 years, depending on how long it takes to align your customs law with the international convention.
For the Caribbean Customs Law Enforcement Council, the workshop signaled the continuation of the close working partnership with the World Customs Organization.
We have at least 14 countries in all. Some of them are controllers of customs, deputy controllers, assistant commissioners, controllers of customs from the administrations who come here with a certain amount of knowledge about the revised Kyoto Convention and also the trade facilitation agreement which the revised Kyoto Convention supports. And so they're coming here with some knowledge and also to gain more knowledge. It is always great when customs administrations or any group of administrations meet in community to seek to put their minds together and also to decide on issues that they can go back to their home administrations and provide some measure of administrative advice to the governments in order of acceding to these conventions and also ratifying them into national law and then technically implementing these conventions in practice.
Countries wishing to become a contracting party to the International Convention have to accept the body and the general annex to the revised Kyoto Convention, which are binding. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
The St. Lucia Labour Party has expressed sadness over the news of the death of Eldon Mathre. On Monday, the party released a statement saying that Mathre was a true statesman and that his ultimate goal was to make his country better. According to political leader of the SLP, Philip J. Pierre, Mathre was also a regionalist and spoke with a passion about the need for the wider Caribbean to become one nation or at the very least act as one nation. Pierre recalls that Mathre was most knowledgeable about the tourism industry and notes that his discussions with the older gentleman gave him great insight into the inner workings of the industry. The party extended its sincere condolences to the family of the late Eldon Mathre. You're watching the Hot 7 Nightly News. The sports news with Tennyson Glasgow is up next.